Beautiful friends, beautiful souls, I hope you are all doing well. I am so happy to be here with you once again today. The past few weeks have been beyond interesting, wouldn't you agree? To say the least, of course, with a few crazy events, lots of crazy events actually, more alien footage, another arrest, and many people simply are losing their minds, quite honestly. Many years ago, I published a video, if you recall, of Mother Earth. It was a message that I received from Mother Earth, channeled through from Mother Earth, where she stated that in that message that she was going to strike places where evil hides and resides. Well, is that happening now? This video I did was years ago. I had a friend actually do the voice for it. I'll try to have that up here so that you can watch that video yourself again. It goes back maybe even 10 years ago. But Spirit did say that that was going to happen, that there were going to be attacks of Mother Nature on places where evil hides and resides. So, is that the case of what just happened to a Pfizer plant where a tornado completely leveled it? Is this a sign from Mother Earth? Surely it looks that way, doesn't it? So, where else could be hit next? What's next for Mother Earth? Has Mother Earth's wrath upon this evil finally begun this year? Kind of really appears that way. We can go and look back at the major earthquake that happened in Turkey and wonder, is there something hiding there that Spirit and Mother Nature and Mother Earth are pointing out to us? Last year, Spirit did show us that there would be a warming that would hit Antarctica, and that this would unleash a series of events, including volcanic eruptions. Well, as you may know, or maybe you don't know, the warmest temperatures ever have been recorded on the Earth and in Antarctica, and it happens to be wintertime in Antarctica, which makes it even crazier. So these temperatures have been recorded, and the soon we had a volcanic eruption that happened in Alaska, a volcanic eruption that happened in Iceland, all within the past week to week and a half. So, what else is on the list? What's going to occur next? Is this what Spirit was warning us about? We're going to cover that in today's show, along with the poles that are shifting. The poles are shifting, although National Geographic claims that this has nothing to do with the changes in the patterns of our climate and our weather. While new claims are out there, if you haven't heard this one's really interesting, that water extraction is actually now being blamed. What happened to cow farts? Now it's water extraction? Oh, we're going to cover that in depth today. How about Obama's chef tragically drowns in Martha Vineyard? What's even more odd is that there was another presidential chef that drowned as well. And take a guess who that person worked for. Of course, the Clintons. So is there something to this? Is there just a coincidence? Do you believe in coincidences? I don't. A new $2 billion Heartland of America theme park is coming to Oklahoma. Will this be the final nail in the coffin for Disney and the woke agenda? We're going to talk about that and the predicted Hollywood strike. And the fall of Hollywood has finally begun, and soon Hollywood and mass media will be replaced by independent journalists and filmmakers like those who produced the amazing movie Sound of Freedom. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Speaking of Sound of Freedom, why is it that they are attacking that movie like never before? And it's being denied by media like Netflix, Amazon, and others. We're going to talk about that in today's show. Spirit showed me visions, if you recall, of massive strikes occurring globally, in which we have been witnessing, including the current strike of Hollywood actors and actresses. This is only the beginning of Hollywood's fall, according to Spirit. As far as massive strikes, it's also the beginning of that as well. This is going to be nothing compared to what is going to come in the future, according to my spirit guides. I warned to be prepared for massive food strikes. I warned you back in January or early 2020, before we were all locked down on global arrest. And now we see this happening as people are stockpiling up on things that I recommend that you be doing as well. But now the huge rush is on rice. That's right, rice, which was in my list of things that we would have shortages in, that I've been talking about for years now. We know that Spirit has warned us, and now India has banned all exports on rice. What's next to come in the realm of food? A warning from Spirit about new threads, the new Threads app. Yep, the new Threads app. A warning that you need to avoid it at all costs, and here's why. We'll talk about that. More animal attacks. Cocaine sharks. That's right, cocaine sharks. The Texas border. Twitter's new logo, and more on this episode today, July 25th. Is it the 25th? 2023. Episode number 75 of Tuesday's Tittle Tea Time predictions, updates, and events. I welcome you all to my channel. I welcome you back to my channel. I am so grateful that you are here. And again, I hope you are all doing well today. If you're new here, my name is Joseph Tittel, aka Spiritman JT. I welcome you with infinite love and gratitude. If you want accurate predictions, prophecy, truth, and interesting content, and you found the perfect tribe, be sure to smash that subscribe. Before we move forward, I want to thank all my subscribers and all of the supporters who make this free content possible for everybody that watches it. Thank you. I couldn't do this without you. You can join the community down below. You can support in many other ways, including the Subscribe Star, Awaken Your Spirit community. All the links are down below. Also, do not forget to sign up for my newsletter down below. New newsletter will go out on Monday, so you're going to want to see that, and I'll be putting out August predictions on Monday as well. So have you noticed lately that there's been a sudden increase or a rise in people showing their true colors? Like really showing their true colors. People becoming angry or downright nasty. I've noticed this personally over the past week and a half. And Spirit told us over a month ago that we were going to begin to witness exactly that. And that people would begin to be getting hit with both positive and negative aspects of karma. Remember that? It was at least about a month ago where Spirit told us, the wave of karma is coming. It's going to hit people both good and, positive and negative. Everything comes in positive and negative, as we know. So have you noticed, maybe on a personal level or around you, people that are getting hit with their karma, especially the bad karma that they have created for themselves? And then they're acting out upon others with anger and nastiness. As I like to say, if you swim your swimming pools with bad karma, eventually you're going to drown in it. And no one's going to throw you a life preserver in the process. But if you fill your pool with good karma, you're going to swim in blessings and miracles that the universe provides. Remember, in past life karma, when people say, oh, I must have done something really bad in my past life, I'm paying for it in this life, that is actually false information. If we came back and reincarnated each time to fulfill things that we screwed up in our past lives, we'd never complete our mission. We would always keep coming back and fixing things instead of learning each time around. We actually pay for all our karma here in this life. Past life karma, if we were to give a definition to it, past life karma is actually emotions that we carry over from past lives. We do carry over emotions, like somebody that's afraid of water but has no reason to be, or other fears and phobias that go back to past lives and other emotions. So I remind you all that we are heading into astrological and energetic alignments and shifts that sadly are going to bring about chaos in ways that you could have never imagined. I have been telling you all for a while that everything as we know it is about to change forever. This won't happen all at once, and it's not all going to happen overnight, but it's going to happen. It's already begun to happen, actually, starting back in 2020. It's a gradual shift that's happening, and it began, it actually kicked off during the Aquarian age. When that kicked in, December 23rd, 2012. Right after December 22nd, 2012. Yes, the day after the solstice. Or even December 21st, the day of the solstice. Regardless of the day, that's the Mayans and the Aztecs talked about that day. And then we went into overdrive in this shift in 2020. Remember, 2020 is all about clear vision and bringing more clarity. More people are awakened now than ever before, and we're only 3 years into this. We still got 7 more years left, 6.5 years left of this 2020 era that we're in, this decade that we're in. So the 2020 Spirit says is going to be the decade that's going to reign chaos, but it's also going to bring change that's desperately needed for our planet and the survival of our species. So I urge you all to remain positive. Always remain positive, no matter how eerie or how challenging things may appear to be. Remain optimistic and know that you, like all of us, signed on to this earth experience and the lessons that we need to learn while we're here. Otherwise, we're going to have to come back and repeat those lessons. We don't repeat karma, but we do repeat lessons. If we don't learn them, we'll come back and try to learn them again and again and again until we get that lesson right. While on this journey, we also will learn, we'll keep learning until we run out of time. If we don't learn what we're supposed to when we run out of our time and our soul contracts up, of course, we got to come back and repeat some of those things. But we're not paying for past life karma. We're just here to learn. We're here to grow. We need to do that while we're here so we don't regret it when we're in the spirit realms and in the heavens. So with karma being a huge focus right now, we're going to see things getting real. And I do mean getting real. We do already. When it comes to baby B, for example, and the whole family. Depositions are coming up, and chances are that they will once again witness lies from people that are under oath. Remember, these folks don't care when they're under oath, friends. They do not care because they don't believe in God. They are destroyers of God. They are destroyers of Jesus. And in a republic, and all this in a republic in which we stand. And remember, that's what the Pledge of Allegiance says. I pledge allegiance to the flag for one republic in which it stands. Not a democracy, a republic. Democracy is what's enslaving us. Think about that for a moment, my friends. Let's talk about weather for a minute. Because remember, I had visions in which I saw so many tornadoes all at one time, and I forget how long ago that was. It might have been in my weather prediction video, but maybe not. Not sure. I can't keep track of everything that Spirit tells me. Spirit's a chatty bunch. But we saw 11 tornadoes hit in and around Chicago this month in July. We've also had the highest ever recorded temperature on the planet, and also in Antarctica, while it's wintertime in Antarctica too, which is even creepier. While we've had volcanic eruptions that I predicted would happen in Alaska, triggering tsunami warnings, and in Iceland, which was also predicted. The Icelandic Meteorological Office said that the latest one was initially more explosive than the previous two of the volcano that's erupting now in Iceland. So this one just was way more powerful, way more explosive. Remember what some of the Hopi elders warned to their grandchildren and to their kids, that they would have to move to higher elevations for the heat would be too strong and it would be too hot, and they'd be cooler in higher elevations. We are only getting a small taste this year of what's to come over the next few years when it comes to heat and weather. 2025 is going to bring about the worst weather that we've ever been reported. That's the year to really look for, which is also a 9-year in numerology. Endings, death of cycles, clearing, getting rid of. So that's going to be an intense year. We're just inching closer and closer to the shifting of our planet, solar storms, and greater awakenings. So speaking of tornadoes, you may recall a video that I put out long ago. And that was a message, again, I channeled in from Mother Earth. I'll put that up here so that you have that link. She stated that she would hit places where evil hides and resides. So did you see this? Let me pull up this news story here of the tornado damage to a Pfizer plant could trigger nationwide drug shortages, health officials say. Remember my prediction about drug shortages, all shortages, everything's going to be short. We're going to be short on everything, stock up on everything. But now, all of a sudden, this tornado wipes out the Pfizer plant. Where was this? Health officials said that the tornado caused damage to the Pfizer plant in North Carolina, could cause future drug shortages in the United States. No, nowhere else, just here. Remember, China makes the majority of all our medications, even our ibuprofen, aspirin, penicillin. The majority of it's made in China now. And China is going to cut us off from all that eventually. What are we going to do? That's why, we need a president that's going to come in here and start making the things we need here in the country the way it used to be. So on Wednesday, the Pfizer, on Wednesday, the Pfizer facility and Rocky Mount appeared to sustain a direct hit from what National Weather Service officials say was an EF3 tornado, halting operations at the plant. The company has said that the plant makes 25% of the firm's sterile injection medicines that are used in U.S. hospitals. Pfizer said all employees were safely evacuated and accounted for. with no serious injuries that were reported. Now, it's interesting because supposedly they were all put up in a hotel, 3,200 employees, by the way. Interesting number, right? 3,200 employees put up in the hotel. Is there even a hotel there, folks that are near this, where this happened? Is there a hotel that holds 3,200 people? Is there a ballroom or anything that holds 3,200 people where they evacuated to? I find that interesting. There are already 300 drugs that were in shortage before this tornado hit. And many of those sterile injectable drugs, and like the ones manufactured at this facility, so we are already in the state of crisis for drug shortages. And this obviously has a potential to contribute to that Mr. Claus told the Hill. Mr. Krause told the Hill. All right, Mr. Krause. But we know that they can make things happen. So are they doing this on purpose? Who knows? I think personally it was Mother Nature striking where the darkness resides, waking people up more to the whole pharmaceutical companies and everything else. We know everything if you do your research. Can't really talk much about it here, as you know. But speaking of tomatoes, speaking of tomatoes or tornadoes, you may recall a video that I put out. Again, I did that already, didn't I? La. Mother Nature, according to Spirit, only just begun her wrath. She only just begun the wrath on our planet and on humanity. Let me get some agua. Love your water. So again, Mother Earth, so much more is to come according to Spirit with strikes in areas where evil hides and resides. So if you saw my recent remote viewing that I did on Antarctica, which premiered yesterday here on YouTube and on Rumble, you would know that Mother Earth is actually literally one side of Antarctica is melting, but they resist to tell us that the other half is freezing. Why is that happening? Well, because it's always ice cold at the very top of the planet, right? Always, always, always. And when the poles are shifting, that shifts down here is going to warm up and melt, and that shifts up is going to freeze again. That's what's happening that they're not telling you. It's not all melting. It's just the part that's shifting. I forget, is it 4% or 40% a year or whatever the percentage of the pole shift is? It's extremely higher than ever before and extremely concerning. But they don't want to tell you about that. They don't want to talk about that. Even though it's predicted by so many prophets like Edgar Cayce and many others. So they resist telling us all that. Mother Nature and Mother Earth is exposing the truth and the darkness according to Spirit, and there is no doubt that the poles are shifting again, just as Edgar Cayce and many others predicted would occur. Funny thing is that National Geographic is reporting that the shifting of the poles has absolutely nothing to do with our changing weather patterns or climate. Nope, it's not affecting anything. It has no effect. Seriously? Anyone who actually believes this has not done any of their homework or research and must have their heads tucked down deep in the sand because it's just not reality. Now there's a new blame being thrown, and this new blame is being thrown towards water extraction, which is being the cause of all of this, according to what their experts, so-called experts, are saying now. What happened to gas vehicles being the cause and cow farts being the cause? That's what I want to know. So check this out. This is really, really interesting. Excessive groundwater extraction is causing Earth's tilt to shift, reveals study. I'd like to know more about this study. Oh, shoot, what happened? Where'd my article go? Here it is. Excessive groundwater extraction by humans over the period from 1993 to 2010 has caused a shift in displacement in approximately 31.5 inches of the Earth's rotational pole, according to a new study published in the Journal of Geophysical Research Letters. Through the extraction of roughly 200 gigatons of groundwater in this period, the shift was resultant in the Earth tilting about 80 centimeters. In a groundbreaking study, researchers have unveiled the astonishing impact of excessive groundwater extraction on the Earth's delicate balance. Which, sure, that might have something to do with it. I agree and disagree at the same time. But the Earth is not perfectly straight on its axis, and it revolves and rotates around the sun. The angle of the planet is at is called, that doesn't make any sense what they just wrote. Somebody made a mistake there. The tilt has been affected by groundwater extraction by approximately 80 centimeters. Findings published in the Journal of Geophysical Research Letters have pointed out the phenomenon. Over the period of 1993 to 2010, an astounding 2,000 gigatons of groundwater were collected and extracted by humans worldwide. So why 1993 to 2010? That doesn't make sense. They say there's more people now than ever, especially going back 2010. We're talking, 13 years ago? What about the past 13 years? What about that groundwater? Are you telling me we're drinking less groundwater or using less groundwater than we were, back then? That doesn't make any sense. Does it? Does that make any sense to you? I want to know in the comments, because your comments and opinions are important to me and to all those who watch here. So what about the gas and oil extraction? What about that? You telling me that ain't screwing things up? Because they failed to mention the facts that oil is actually the lubrication of the Earth's plates. So when the plates shift, it acts just like your engine, your car engine, with the gears, it keeps them lubed up so that they, turn well without crunching together. When you pull the oil out and the plates shift, they crunch together, causing massive damage to the Earth and to earthquakes and so much more. But why are they failing to tell us that? So, we want them to glide instead of crash. What about the toxic chemicals in the millions, maybe even billions, probably billions of gallons of water that they pump into the earth to extract gas? Because, when they do fracking, they pump in tons and tons of water and chemicals into the earth. You're telling me that don't have nothing to do with it? No, of course not. It's because we use too much groundwater. I'm sure it's all connected. All of it plays a part. Too much resources being drained from the planet are going to affect the planet, period. But to say that it's that now and they keep changing their focus, we go from gas vehicles to cow farts now to water extraction. It's just kind of bizarre, don't you think? So they failed to mention that they want us, all what? What are they going to say? We drink too much water now? Or we did back then, and we eat too much meat? They're already saying that. Even though that the human body is actually engineered, specifically our pointer teeth, our little fangs, are meant to chew meat. Our teeth are designed that way. Why? Because that's how our bodies are engineered. They also failed to mention that the biggest extraction of groundwater that's happening is caused by companies like Nestle and fracking companies. So stop them, stop them from taking all the water out of the ground, because we know what Nestle does. They go town to town and drain your aquifers and then sell you a water back. So every day it seems like they're throwing the blame in a new direction, and I assure you that this is all just huge diversion, suppression of truth, and propaganda to keep folks dumbed up to what is real and what the real causes are. Edgar Casey and others said that, and history shows again clearly, we know history shows that this has occurred on the planet before. And even the natives talk about us being in the fourth world, about to go into the fifth world. But there were 3 other worlds before us, starting with Lemuria, Atlantis, and then the whole Noah story that we all know about. So we have 3 different worlds before us. We're in the fourth, and the natives talk about the fifth one that's around the corner. And it's around the corner, we see it. All these different worlds that predated us, all were destroyed from a shifting in the planet. That is a fact. Do your research. Even researchers know this. Why do they not want you to know this? That's the question. As Edgar Casey said again, and others, this has occurred and it's going to continue to occur. And the time is actually, unfortunately, approaching, and Mother Earth is in charge. Not humans, not the aliens, but Mother herself. Remember, mother rules. Mothers rule. Moms out there. Moms rule. Not everybody's good at it, but not everybody's good at everything. So, who are we to judge? So as far as weather predictions, I first am going to also refer you back to my hurricane and weather prediction video. I'll try to get a link up there for that too. Because in that video, I talk about, I got to go back and listen to it, but, I had visions of biggest hurricane ever. I don't even know what that would be. Category 6, Category 7. I don't know what the categories are, but biggest ever. Which makes sense to everything warming up and everything else. If you hear that noise, it's the trash truck out front picking up the garbage. And it's kind of loud. So I apologize for that noise if you can hear it. Hopefully you can't with my canceling microphone, but sometimes it's sensitive and picks up stuff. So we are at least a week away from my August prediction. So I'm going to offer you more in the way of predictions in my August 1st or my actual Monday video, which would be July 31st. I'll put that out. I will tell you that soon we're going to see weather events unlike anything we've ever witnessed thus far already. And much of this is going to hit, as I've been saying since January, from late August into late October during that big retrograde cycle. And forward after that, but that's a big time period right there. So Spirit also reminds us that the highest recorded temperature in Antarctica was recorded during the winter months there. It's winter there right now. So wait till Antarctica hits the summer months, which will be when we hit the winter here, of course. So this is going to bring about huge concerns when we begin to see the largest breaks of ice and another concern of a giant iceberg heading towards land, heading towards a land structure where people are, and a strong need to divert this incoming tragedy. I see explosions. I had visions of explosions in the water, and I take this that they're going to use some type of weapons or explosives to break apart or divert this huge iceberg's path. So that'll be interesting to see. I don't know where it's heading, and hopefully I'll get more information. That's why it's important that you subscribe, because every Tuesday we look into things, and as we get closer to things coming into fruition, I often get more details and information. There will also be significant seismic activity occurring in Antarctica that is likely going to be responsible for the huge breakoffs of ice. I see a vision of a volcano that was erupting, and this volcano just was protruding just slightly through thick ice. So it's just the very top of it was protruding, and then it just goes. I imagine this vision was also Antarctica. I mean, it could be Iceland, but I was thinking it was definitely Antarctica. And let's move on to RFK Jr. Because Robert K. has been drugged through the tunnel of censors, if you know what I mean, and that have consistently have been stopping this man from speaking truth or speaking anything on that, for that matter. Have you all watched the so-called hearings or whatever they did? Unbelievable. So RFK, here's an article from the Epoch Times. The RFK Jr. maintains highest favorable rating amongst presidential candidates in a new poll. That's right, days after the House hearing on censorship that saw Democrats attempt to prevent Robert Kennedy Jr. from testifying, a new Harvard-Harris poll showed that he has a higher favorability rating than any other presidential candidate. Don't you have deja vu? Didn't this happen back in 2016? You know what I'm saying here? It's just like anybody that's a threat. Mr. Kennedy has had a favorable rating of 47% and an unfavorable mark of 26%, according to the survey, which was released on July 23rd and conducted from July 19th to July 20th amongst 2,068 registered voters. That's not many, actually. Former President Donald Trump has a favorable rating of 45%. So he's beating him by 2%, compared to the 49% unfavorable number. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has a 40% favorable rating and a 37% unfavorable, while President JB has a 39% favorable and 53% unfavorable ratings, according to the survey. Mr. Trump would defeat Mr. B in a general election 45% to 40%. But, you know, we're a long way off from actually making any well, not here. We make predictions here, but long off from any of that. Not even worried about it right now. But Spirit did tell us to keep a close eye on, Junior. Told us to keep a close eye and pay very close attention. And I wonder, have you been paying very close attention to this man? Because did you watch, again, the congressional hearings on free speech and how they shut him right down, interrupted him, wouldn't let him speak? It's a thing on free speech, and they won't let him speak. That was just mind-blowing to me. That whole thing was so disturbing. And if you did not know how quickly even Congress shuts down truth bearers and whistleblowers, the best is yet to come, according to Spirit. Just wait until the retrograde hits in the next series of solar flares in late August into September. Unfortunately, RFK Jr., just like 45, is going to continue to be shut down and shut out by media and other platforms. And to me, this truly should be a huge wake-up call for the world. But sadly, too many still have their heads buried in the sand while others are praising their demon gods. What can we do? But stay focused on the positive. So speaking of number 45, another arrest, as Spirit told us was going to happen for DT. Luckily, his hearing was moved to May 2024, and I say luckily, being that he's currently in his 9 personal year in numerology, which is endings, death of cycles, getting rid of. And you can get hit hard by legal proceedings in your 9 year as well, and he's definitely experiencing that. But 2024 is his one. New beginnings, new starts, new creations. That number's all in his favor. And they say the month of May, as when I think they said May, which is his 6th vibration, which is also really interesting. But I still feel that there's an attack on this man and many others. These attacks are far from over, my friends. As you know, far from over. And do not be surprised to see another arrest of DT and a payoff to a judge to get this judge to deny bail, to keep him in there. That's coming. I wouldn't doubt that they invade RFK's compound as well, trying to make claims that he's doing something he shouldn't. So look for that in the future as well. So let's talk about flags that fly ever so falsely. I saw this article, it was really interesting. Flags that fly ever so falsely is a strong subject that, as you know, we cover again and again. And now we have a warning coming from the United States in this article about flags flying ever so falsely. Thought this was really interesting. That's not the article. Shoot, I put the wrong link in there. Oh, damn. Let's see if I can find it. I had it in my email. Yeah, so I'll find the article. Give me 1 second. Thank you for your patience, your love, your support. Did I delete it? I hope I didn't delete it. Put the wrong link in there. There's the $2 billion federal judge. Nope, that's not it. Well, anyway, the U.S. is warning that there will be... Oh, here it is. Found it. Found it, friends. I found it. U.S. warns of false flag attacks as Russia targets civilian ships off Ukraine. The United States is warning that Russia could use its own sea mines in a false flag operation to justify the ongoing targeting of civilian grain vessels in the northern Black Sea. There's again an attack on food, friends, grain and rice. Again, it seems like it's purposeful. Like they're purposefully like cutting everything off and keeping people, in restraints for food, making it so unaffordable, unaccessible, and everything else. But they're going to blame, of course, a flag flying ever so falsely coming from somewhere else. White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby told reporters on July 20th that the Biden administration felt it was necessary to issue a warning about Russia disinformation on the topic. Moscow, he said, released a video late Wednesday alleging to demonstrate the seizure and detonation of a Ukrainian sea mine. Despite the claim, Mr. Kirby said Russia itself is currently placing sea mines at the entrances of the Ukrainian ports and targeting civilian ships carrying food in from the region. Which is sad. If that's true, that's really sad. That's awful, actually. But I got to tell you, we should know by now that when the United States, especially the United States, warns us that something's coming in that aspect, it's usually that they're usually the culprits. And really, they're the ones flying those flags ever so falsely. So Spirit has continued to warn us that there would be 3 flags that would fly ever so falsely. Remember that? And if I recall correctly, and I may not recall correctly, you let me know down in the comments. We've already seen 1, maybe 2, but not all 3 yet. So, but unlikely, as I feel, yeah, one, two. I know we had one. I'm thinking that's all we had was the one, and there's still two more to come, because that's what Spirit made me feel, that there is two more back-to-back ones coming, whether they're related to that previous prediction or not. So two back-to-back flags flying. Something to watch out for, and I'd say that's probably approaching more likely in August. I mean, we still have less than a week left in this month. It still could happen, but pay attention, because when they warn us of something, you know that they're up to something. That's why they warn us, to let us know they're up to something, to try to twist our heads in the opposite direction, to make us look at something else instead of looking at them. Excuse me. So as much as it may appear that media is pushing fear of nuclear conflict, Spirit tells me that Russia is actually avoiding these tactics at all costs. That's good to know. But Spirit also said it's the NATO that we really need to be most concerned of. And as you heard me say in the past, the NATO is basically the Antichrist's army. Even though the Antichrist hasn't come yet, or, well, he's here, we just don't know it yet. That's coming soon, too. Probably 2025. The Obama and Clinton chef drownings. How interesting is this, friends? There are never any coincidences, as you know, never, especially when it comes to a crime family, if you know what I mean. So how is it both that Obama and the Clintons have White House chefs who mysteriously drowned? Seriously? So will we see the current White House chef drowned a few years from now? Probably. I'd be a little bit scared if I was a White House chef right now, that's for sure. I'd be quitting my job, especially one that's connected to the web of darkness. So imagine the things that these chefs know, the things that they've heard, the things that they have witnessed, right? In time, they become a threat. So is that what happened here? Did they become a threat? Perhaps they know way too much. They will quickly, of course, this whole thing will be quickly swept under the rug, both simply as a tragic drowning, both of them as just simply tragic drownings with no investigations, no digging up of the past or anything else. And here's the article. This one comes from MSN. New Mexico, United States. As the Obamas mourn the loss of their personal chef, must be nice, ma'am. Some individuals on Twitter have been quick to point out previous tragedy involving the White House chef in 1915, Chef Walter, who was hired by the First Lady Hillary Clinton during the President Clinton's administration, who also lost his life in a drowning incident in New Mexico. The occurrence of both White House chefs dying by drowning have sparked bizarre and unfounded conspiracy theories. My correction there. And social media has been buzzed with comparisons between the two cases. Isn't that interesting, friends? Isn't that interesting? Two White House chefs have died. Twitter users have drawn parallels between the deaths, with some finding similarities between Tafari Campbell's death and the circumstances surrounding Walter Scheib's drowning. Both died in different drowning tragedies and have no similarities besides being chefs who served presidents and their families at the White House. Conspiracy theorists have a field day linking the two deaths, but one Twitter account in a post read, two White House chefs have now died from drowning. In 2015, the chef for Bill and Hillary Clinton died from drowning while hiking in New Mexico. Walter Scheib's death was confirmed as accidental drowning after he went hiking alone in the New Mexico mountains. His body was found submerged in a mountain drainage flowing to the surface runoff. He was hiking. He wasn't swimming, he was hiking. So let's just get that clear right there. Swimming, not hiking. And he's face down in the water? Come on now. We know all about the Clintons, don't we? It's interesting how they both were alone when this happened. Both, like, nobody can confirm or witness unless they come up with some fake witnesses. It's all very, very interesting, to say the least. So let's move on to Hollywood. Better subject. Not that it's even a good subject, but perhaps you recall my visions of the Hollywood sign falling down, and predictions revolved around the fall of Hollywood and a takeover from China and independent media. So the strike currently happening in Hollywood with Hollywood actors and actresses is certainly going to bring a collapse to so many shows that you may enjoy, in which they will be forced to cancel some of these shows. Only a small few will survive, according to Spirit. But Spirit also wanted me to remind all of us that I don't have a TV in my home. I mean, I have one, but it's in the closet. I don't use it. The TV, Spirit reminds us, is a black box. It's exactly that, a black box. A box that admits dark energy and dark entities. Subliminal messages in your shows, your movies, your commercials that are meant to control our minds, like MK Ultra. We have to be very cautious as to what we watch, especially if you're watching it on a smart television device or on a platform like Amazon, Netflix, or any of those. Which Spirit says the smart television devices, the smart TVs, are the darkest of all black boxes, according to Spirit. The darkest of all black boxes. Interesting, right? Even more interesting is that hit shows are on a delay as Hollywood strike continues, according to this article here. The latest, SAG, the union that represents Hollywood actors, went on strike earlier this month, joining with the writers' union that has been on strike since May. I didn't know the writers' union was on strike, actually, since May. All scripted film and TV production has essentially stopped. Good. Thumbs up on that. We need better media and better information like you get here and other places as well. Meanwhile, the Emmys are scheduled for September 18th, but actors cannot campaign for Emmys at events under strike rules, meaning that the event will likely be postponed. I'm not even going to read the rest of this article. It's not even worth it. So is this actors strike the beginning of the end of Hollywood? Is this what Spirit meant by the sign falling over when I talked about that months ago? Actually, the beginning of the year, I think, in January's predictions is when I saw that. I have no doubt that that's exactly what's happening. More and more actors and media people are going to seek independent media resources and filmmakers, like those who made the film Sound of Freedom. Moving on to the Sound of Freedom. Do you know what the Sound of Freedom sounds like? If you don't, you need to watch the movie. Because if you have not seen the movie Sound of Freedom yet, everyone must watch this, especially if you have children and or grandbabies. It's important. Why, at the same time, why is this movie being denied by platforms such as Netflix and Amazon? You should be questioning this very deeply, my friends. The Sound of Freedom is not only bringing truth to a $140 billion industry, it's also showing that filmmakers no longer need Hollywood. They don't need Hollywood. Sound of Freedom continues to break records, even beating out Indiana Jones. Sound of Freedom has been cut from many theaters. Many theaters won't play it, won't let it in. And it was actually only played in just over 2,800 theaters. And Indiana Jones was played in more than 4,800 theaters. It's almost double. This speaks highly about the movie Sound of Freedom. And I urge you all, if you have not seen it yet, you need to get out and make it a priority. I watched it last night. What a great movie. I mean, but sad and such, but reality, and it was really good. Very, very well done movie. And it's all based on the true story of Tim Ballard, who I believe is a complete hero and needs to be given gold medals or whatever, or just money so he can continue his journey on taking out these evil people and saving the little ones. So a while back, Spirit told us that traffic, if you know what I'm talking about here on the same subject, would be broken up and major truth would come out on this topic. Remember me saying that a while back? Well, I think this movie is just the beginning of what Spirit was telling us, of truth being unveiled and bringing fear to the evildoers. It's about time they experience their own little fear that they've been pushing out to us, and they're, the evildoers and those who participate in these atrocities. Some of them aren't evil. They're just screwed up in their head. There is a difference. And maybe evil controls them and they don't realize it, but it doesn't mean they're evil. All of them. but many of them, or most of them. But again, a lot of them it's mental, screwed up in the brain. So hold on tight, Spirit says, because there's a documentary that's going to come after this movie that's going to bring more controversy, more censors, and more fake fact checkers. 2024 is going to be a year when this becomes more and more of a concern as people begin to realize more people are enslaved now on our planet than any time ever in history. And sadly, a majority of them being the little ones. So when a politician experiences losing a child, because this is coming, and I don't think it's the United States, it's a different country. I couldn't figure out what country it is, but Spirit was showing me that when a politician experiences losing a child to these criminals, it's going to launch a war against those controlling this industry. That's going to be interesting. So again, it's the fall of the evil happening, friends. Remember, God's children are not for sale. And that's like my favorite line in that whole movie. So let us all together pray for the little ones and for the safety of the little ones, and pray for the freedom of all humans in the name of Jesus. Amen. Let's talk about the American Heartland Resort, because this is interesting, because for a while now, Spirit has showed me continued visions of the fall of Hollywood and the fall of companies like Disney. And indeed, we've been witnessing exactly that. Spirit's on point, let me tell you. So soon Disney is going to have more competition for their already failing theme parks. And that competition is a $2 billion endeavor called the American Heartland Resort and Theme Park. $2 billion American Heartland theme park set to rival the world's top resort destinations. A $2 billion theme park resort complex is being built in the northeast of Oklahoma and is set to rival the world's top resort destinations. Officials announced on July 19th. Known as the American Heartland Theme Park and Resort, the 1,000-acre development with a 125-acre theme park will be located just west of Grand Lake on Route 66 and will include a number of entertaining rides, live shows, family attractions, outdoor water park, and more. All celebrating the best of the United States. I think this is awesome, actually. I think it's quite awesome. I can't wait. I love me a damn good theme park and a damn good roller coaster. Yes. I say all the time, life is a roller coaster ride, right? Don't you agree? Life is a roller coaster ride. So you got to love roller coasters, because if not, it's going to be hellish. And I love me a damn good roller coaster. The bigger, the scarier, the faster. Yes. So this place is going to house a 300-room hotel with a modern indoor water park and a large-scale 320-acre RV park with cabins and yada, yada, yada. And it's going to be pretty wild. 1,000 acres. Huge. I wonder how the people in Oklahoma feel about that. But, for some reason, I feel that the builders of this Heartland America are going to hit one barrier after another, and I think these barriers are actually going to be an attempt from others to stop them from making this happen. Probably somebody like the Disney Corporation. Except there's so many billionaires that are behind this that it's going to succeed, and it's going to do so in a record amount of time, according to Spirit. So I didn't see in this article when it actually is supposed to open. I don't see it. It didn't say. I closed the link already. Open it up. I don't know when they say, but Spirit says it's going to open sooner. So I didn't even notice this in the article too, actually. Is this the right article? Yeah. Rich Cultures, Hometown Values of America. A team of experts, including more than 20 former Disney park builders and Walt Disney Imagineers, are helping to build this new park, according to the announcement. So yeah, people are leaving Disney and going over to this. Quite funny, right? That's some karma for you right there. Remember, I told you karma's here. It's coming, that wave of karma. So good and bad. So expect your good karma to come and your bad karma to come if you have any in your swimming pool of karma. Officials expect this new development and rival to stop resort destinations in the world and bring a 4.9 million guests per year. I still don't see a time. Visits down at Disney. However, American Heartland founder and chief creative officer Gene Bicknell told reporters Thursday that the company's main goal is to make the theme park affordable for all. Yeah, because Disney is not affordable. It's a ripoff, actually. So the announcement of the brand new theme park comes as Walt Disney World and Universal Studios are struggling to attract visitors amid their ticket prices, increased competition, and soaring heat, according to reports. Isn't it really hot in Oklahoma, too, though? I mean, at least there's water there, and I'm sure they'll put water in these parks. But Florida opened early. Yeah, they're not telling us when they're planning on opening this. I don't see a date here anywhere, but very interesting. And I love the whole name, Heartland, American Heartland. Love it. I think it's a great idea. It's time for something to come in and take out Disney. Disney's been around a very, very long time. And as you know, there's always things that come in and take out the old. Look, Walmart came in and took out the other stores like Kmart and lots of other stores. There's always something that comes along and takes out everything. Amazon soon is taking out Walmart and Target. That's happening. There's always something that comes along. What we need is something to come along and to put out Facebook. That's what I'm looking forward to. All the social media. We need a good one, something big and awesome and amazing. But of course, they're suppressing that as too. And I'll talk about that in a few minutes with the Threads app that just was released a week or two ago. Let's talk about massive shortages. Since early 2020, I've been warning y'all to stock up on food and necessities due to future shortages. Excuse me, at the time that I said that, it did not at all appear like that was in our future, right? If you remember me saying that, it was a while, early 2020, so 3 years ago, over 3 years ago. So at that time, again, we didn't know that it was coming, but now we see that it's getting worse and worse, especially now that India has stopped all exports of rice while China and other countries have been stockpiling grains and rice for a while now. Other countries act as if there is no pending disaster when it comes to food supplies. Like here in the United States, they ain't stocking anything. They're giving it all away. They want to starve Americans more than anybody. And probably everybody in Europe, UK and England, those areas. Are your countries doing anything to stock up? Probably not. Are they giving away the gas like JB is here in this country? So other countries act as if there's no pending disaster, and others like India are like, there's a pending disaster. We're cutting off exports. Now, a buying frenzy has now occurred once again and again. It will continue to have these buying frenzies, and this time it's for rice. After India made that announcement, a huge bag of rice in your own stockpile can truly determine whether or not you and your family are going to starve in the future. Because we know that rice is a great item to stockpile because it lasts really long. It lasts a long time. It can be used in so many ways. It's very filling. We can mix it with other stuff, and we will soon see other countries doing the same thing by stockpiling while cutting off or cutting back in exports. Some are going to stop exports completely like India did with rice. Sadly, this is just going to get worse and worse over the next 2 years. Prices are going to double and triple again, even though they already have, but they're going to again. So this is why I clearly to urge you all to, that you need to prepare, you and your loved ones. More severe droughts and floods this year are going to affect next year's harvested goods and more. That's why India cut off the rice, because all the floods and drought that they're having and had this year and previously. They're getting smart. They also have second most amount of people in the world, right? Over 1 billion people there. So, animal attacks and cocaine sharks. Yeah, cocaine sharks, baby. I didn't know sharks did cocaine. This is just the most craziest, ridiculous thing I ever heard. But I'm going to tell you anyway. Because remember, I predicted there'd be a huge uptick in animal attacks and shark attacks. And it's been happening. Months ago, I warned this. I think I warned it in the beginning of the year, actually, but don't quote me on that. And a woman jogging in Yellowstone Park was just attacked and killed by a bear. That's the second bear attack that we had on the west coast. I guess you could call that Midwest. I don't know what part of Yellowstone it was, but somebody left it in the comments. But why is this happening exactly? Media is now telling us that the shark attacks are happening because sharks are sniffing cocaine or eating cocaine. Sharks eating cocaine. Yep, cocaine. is the culprit, my friends. Cocaine is the culprit. That is why. First in the White House, and now in the waters for the sharks to indulge in. That's right. So check out this ridiculous article here. Researchers are looking into possibility of so-called cocaine sharks in Florida. How about sharks hopped onto the cocaine train? This this sentence is all about undeniable glory. Arrives mere seconds into recent news report from folks over at the KTLA, and for good reason. As you have no doubt, you have been made aware over the recent days that it is inevitably interwoven topics. Interwoven topics of inadvertent cocaine ingestion and shark behavior have finally collided. Unsurprisingly, the collision is due largely to the plethora of Shark Week related releases being rolled out on the Discovery Channel. So basically they're saying that the cartel are throwing, the drugs into the water and the sharks are eating it, which is probably true. But what about all the other attacks? You telling me, remember they made that movie too, what was it called? Cocaine Bear, wasn't it? I didn't watch it, but I remember seeing the thing for it. Cocaine Bear. Now we got cocaine sharks. We're going to have cocaine birds next. I mean, come on, folks. This is so ridiculous. It's the energy. Not even just the energy. So, sure, perhaps some sharks, like humans, do like their cocaine, but in reality, we always must read between the lines of any story that they ever put out in front of us, because remember what Spirit told me decades ago. Absolutely nothing is as it appears to be. Nothing is as it appears to be. We see animals acting strangely, humans becoming more angry, and so many little ones, the kids that are confused about who they are or what they want to be. What they don't tell us is that this is really a result of several different things. It's a result from the waste that's going into the waters, the plastics and the chemicals in the plastics, and more so the chemicals that have been used for decades for farming, pesticides, and so much more. They are altering everything, my friends. And as far as I'm concerned, it's all a big old work of Lucifer and his army to destroy absolutely everything that God has created. Everything. So, if God created you one way, Lucifer wants you to change that. Think about it. Makes total sense, don't it? This is all the work of the devil. All of it. To reverse things and change everything and make us believe that we're not who we are. To make us believe that we're different. And we need to make ourselves different through surgical procedures or whatever else. This is the work of the devil. Animal attacks is the same as people on the attacks. People are more on the attack now than ever. Well, so are animals and so are sharks. Maybe some are due to cocaine, but most are not. Just saying. Let's talk about some other news today before we close out our day together. A warning from Spirit to avoid the new Threads app at all costs. And it's 666 logo. And I didn't even look this up. This is just what Spirit told me. So I don't even know what the logo looks like. So let's look it up. Threads. Oh, Threads app. Let's see. 666. Oh, yeah. Look at that. It is too. Holy moly. It almost looks like they took part of that off of the Amazon. Like, it almost resembles Amazon. I mean, let's face it. Zuckerberg stole the whole app idea from Twitter, which I'm going to talk about that too in a minute, because Twitter is changing their logo, which I thought was really interesting. But look at that. That is 3 6s. It's a backwards 6, but it's a 6. There's another 6. I see 2 6s. I don't see the third. Maybe I'm not seeing it right. Spirit says it's all evil. I mean, come on. This guy can't come up with anything on his own. If you watch the movie back in the day, he stole the idea for Facebook off of his college roommate. Stole everything. This guy ain't got no creativity. He stole Threads. He had people work on it. He's like, copy Twitter. That's basically what he did. He didn't do anything. Just make a demand. So Threads users are asking for new feature updates, and it seems that Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is taking their opinions into account. The app's update will include a following feed and a translations feed. Oh, who cares? But listen to what Spirit says. I was going to sign up because, hey, I'm sick of Facebook, especially being they filter everything I say. I posted the thing about aliens. Nobody even saw it. No likes or anything. So I know that they stopped it from being seen. They took my access away from my page with 34,000 followers. So if you find me on Facebook, it's not, I can't access that page. They took the page is there, but my access isn't. And if you ever get a DM, direct message, or private message from me, it's not me, because I will not send you a message offering you a reading or messages from Spirit. So remember that. If you are getting messages on any platform like that, it is a fraud. And if you get sucked into it and send them money or gifts, then that's your own fault, because many people have got sucked into it and then they get mad at me thinking it's me and it's not me. I don't have time for sending you messages. You want a reading, you want anything, go right directly to my email, office@josephtittel.com. So remember what Spirit says, avoid that at all costs. And I don't feel like Threads necessarily will be around long. They're going to end up changing it. Speaking of changes, why is Elon Musk changing Twitter's logo? I thought I had an article here. This is not the right article. Put the wrong links in again today. It's okay. We'll go back to that in a second. That article. Let's get rid of the cocaine sharks. So his new logo is an X, from what I gather. He wants to change and take away the birds and make it an X. Why an X? What number in numerology is X? I forget. I'll have to look deeper into this. I thought it was interesting. Yeah, he needs to change everything, but why the X? It just seemed a little weird, and it seemed a little cryptic to me, kind of like message, something hidden within that X. Like Planet X, right? Planet X in the Bible. It's interesting, isn't it? What's even more interesting is that there's an unsettling rise of microwave syndrome. Have you ever heard of microwave syndrome? Courtney Gillert's 10-year-old daughter never had a problem sleeping. But on August 2020, the morning after the 5G cell tower was installed within 450 feet of their home in Massachusetts, she woke up complaining of headaches, dizziness, and buzzing in her head and general malice. Normally, she gets up at 8 a.m., but on that day, she didn't come downstairs until the afternoon. She didn't even look well, and she said that she was having headaches, dizziness, and buzziness. In her own words, the girl, her sister, and Miss Gallardi herself, who said she started experiencing sleep disturbances, rapid heartbeats, and migraines, were soon diagnosed, and soon after they were diagnosed with a syndrome called microwave syndrome, a condition known to develop after a person is exposed to electromagnetic fields emitted by wireless technologies. The doctor's advice is simple: stay away from your home, according to this article by the Epoch Times. Microwave syndrome, what is it, and how can it harm you? Microwave syndrome refers to the sensitivity and symptom caused by environmental microwave radiation. I had that happen to me at Bradshaw Ranch when we were taken and had missing time and we were sick in bed for days. We definitely had radiation poisoning, no doubt about it. Different than, I guess, I don't know if it's microwave radiation, but I know what radiation poisoning feels like. It's not good. People are primarily exposed to microwave radiation through wireless devices and antennas, cell phone towers, Wi-Fi modems, phones, tablets, smart wearables, and smart home appliances continuously emit these waves 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Symptoms may include radiation exposure, include insomnia, headaches, fatigue, stress, pain, and even skin rashes. Individuals with chronic diseases may experience a worsening. So, when I go to bed at night, I disconnect all my devices from the Wi-Fi. And I actually got to this point where I'm going to only reason I keep my internet on is because my security cameras. Otherwise, I'd be turning my internet off every night, unplugging it. But it's in the other room, far enough away from the bedroom. I turn all my devices off when I go to bed. I leave them in the other room, and I advise you that you may want to make sure you do the same. Do not sleep with your devices. Now, remember my predictions in the past about Texas and the borders of Texas and the cartel wars that were going to come to our borders in the United States? Well, Texas, good for the friends in Texas, man. Texas border crackdown bears fruit. Lots of it, which I found interesting because this is a number 422, 422, 422 million lethal fentanyl doses have been seized and more than 31,000 criminals arrested. That's right. Texas's efforts to stop the smuggling of drugs, weapons, and people into the United States under Operation Lone Star have borne fruit, according to data provided by the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, who pledged to continue deploying every strategy available to respond to the border crisis. Operation Lone Star started in March in response to a surge in illegal immigrants as a combined effort by the Texas Department of Public Safety and the Texas National Guard. The operation deployed air, ground, marine, and tactical border security assets to high-threat areas along the border in an effort to deny Mexican cartels and others the ability to smuggle people, weapons, and drugs into the country. A little more than 2 years since this has started, the border security, Mr. Abbott on July 21st provided figures that hint to the fruits of their effort, while blaming President JB's policies for the dire situation at the border. The multi-agency effort has led more than 394,000 illegal immigrant apprehensions and more than 31,300 criminal arrests, with reports of more than 29,000 felony charges brought and data closed by Mr. Abbott's show. You go, Mr. Abbott. You go, bro. But, this is going to piss off the cartel. And this would make sense to my visions and my predictions going back a while ago about cartel wars on the borders, especially in Texas. And I didn't know they were doing that in Texas. I thought that they weren't able to do anything about it because of the policies that have been passed with this administration. It's been really interesting. I remind you, if you missed my Antarctica remote viewing, make sure you check that out and check out my I just lost a brain fart. It's been a long one. Actually, it hasn't been that long. Just at over an hour. And it's always glad to be here with you. We're coming up to the end of the month, so on Monday I will present my predictions for August. I have 2 pieces that I am working on that I hope to release at least one of them before this week's out. So make sure you check your notifications. Always, if you don't see me pop up on a Tuesday, especially check your subscription, because sometimes people mysteriously become unsubscribed. Thank you for clicking that like button, because it means the world to me and it helps the algorithms to help me. And to the Debbie Downer that hits the down button, you're only preventing this stuff from showing up on your feed. Hitting the thumbs up shows the algorithms that you want stuff, not necessarily mine, but stuff like it to show up on your feed. It also helps videos to, be seen by others. So remember to be kind to others as you wish others be kind to you. And more importantly, as I always say, be bold, be strong. I know I totally had a brain fart. Again, I'm brain farting. It's been long. I don't know. I got no sleep last night. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know if you slept last night. Maybe it's an energy thing, but there's not really anything happening other than a couple days ago we had Venus go retrograde. Venus retrograde, actually, I remind you, the Venus retrograde is a focus on relationships. Remember, at the beginning of this month, it was a focus on our personal selves. Now it's a focus on relationships. And you're going to see things come out of people that are going to show you their true colors, where it's going to show you what is not good for you in your life or what isn't for your highest vibration. And in order to help raise your vibration and to get you into a more positive vibration, you have to eliminate those negative vibrations that may be surrounding you in some way or another, whether it's through meditation, ceremony, or just clearing them out of your life for starters. With that said, be bold, be true, be kind, be you. You're freaking awesome. Spiritman JT signing off. I will see you in the future sometime before the week comes to an end. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Much love.